Please welcome to present our first OHI Courage Award, White House National Security Advisor, Jake Sullivan.
Good evening. That is a very tough act to follow. I'm grateful to Mike and Andy for bringing us all together tonight and for giving me this opportunity. Here in Washington, it often feels like competition and conflict steal the headlines. But every October, you guys remind us what is truly worth celebrating: courage, conviction, commitment to our shared values. And so, to all the folks who are gathered here tonight and those who helped put on this remarkable event, I just want to say thank you. And I also want to extend my gratitude to George for reminding us of courage seen and unseen, and for sharing the courageous story of the Greek women and men who said, "Ohi, no." It's a story that bears remembering over and over, particularly as we see the lessons of history repeat themselves today. Just 8 months ago, Russia launched an unprovoked assault against Ukraine, expecting a swift surrender and a quick defeat. Putin ordered his troops to encircle Ukrainian cities, shelling towns, destroying homes. He sent a column of tanks towards the capital, expecting to topple the democratically elected government of Ukraine. And he ordered warships to the Black Sea, expecting to quickly capture the small but strategic Snake Island, which is now well known to the whole world. But Putin underestimated one key factor: the people of Ukraine. From Kharkiv to Kherson, Ukrainians fought back. In the capital, they stood strong. And on tiny Snake Island, 19 brave border guards wouldn't give up. By the time they ran out of ammunition, the island was smoldering and the temperature was dropping. The Russian warship gave them that same order that the Axis gave to the Greeks in 1940: surrender. The Ukrainians paused for a moment, and then they replied with their famous reply. I think it was something like, "Russian warship, go Ohi yourself," or something like that, at least. My point is this: outgunned and outmanned, those men and millions of other Ukrainians stood their ground. They chose to defend their freedom, and in the face of fear, they all decided to say no. And the loudest, most piercing no of all came from the leader we are honoring tonight, President Volodymyr Zelensky. Throughout these terrible months, he has united his country to preserve its freedom. He's inspired nations around the world to support this common cause. He stood up to the Russian government, and he has stood with his people, turning pain into purpose. Last winter, when Putin surrounded Ukraine's borders, trying to induce this surrender, President Zelensky declared, "If you attack, you will see our faces, not our backs, but our faces." Throughout the war, this Russian government has seen the courageous face of Ukraine, a people determined to defend their democracy, their liberty, their freedom, their sovereignty, their territorial integrity, a people that are defending values that unite us all. And under President Biden's leadership, the United States has been proud to stand with the Ukrainian people, not just with our words, but with our security assistance, with our financial support, with our humanitarian aid. We have worked with a diverse range of countries across the world, weaving together a coalition to help Ukrainians defend themselves, including by providing vital anti-tank, anti-air, artillery, and HIMARS systems. We've united so many countries to impose unprecedented economic costs on Russia, including sanctions that are squeezing crucial sectors of the Russian economy and the Russian military machine. And we've worked with our partners to try to deal with the global ripple effects of war, from energy supplies to food insecurity. And we have constantly, throughout all of this, taken a form of courage and resolve from President Zelensky. And so as Russian aggression continues every day, including this very day, we, like the Ukrainian people, will not be knocked off course. We will continue to support Ukraine for as long as it takes. The blue and yellow Ukrainian flag that now hangs in the grocery stores, the dorm rooms, the windowsills in towns and cities all across this country, in houses right around where we're sitting tonight. Americans have hung those flags because the Ukrainian people, led by a brave, principled, and determined president, remind us of the better world that we are all determined to see, a world in which conviction matters and in which courage counts, a world in which saying no to fear, to violence, and to brutality makes all the difference. And so it is very difficult to think about somebody who is more appropriately being honored for this award in the 12 years of its existence than the person who has stood athwart this Russian onslaught and said no day after day on behalf of his people, beside his people, leading his people, than President Zelensky. And so I am deeply honored to introduce President Zelensky tonight to give some remarks. But before we have the honor of hearing from him, we'd like to share a video that captures his remarkable commitment and extraordinary courage over these last 8 months. So thank you, and please join me in welcoming the video, and then, most importantly, giving it up for President Volodymyr Zelensky. Thank you very much.
On February 24th, with the Russian invasion coming at him from 3 sides, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky reached for his most powerful weapon, his phone. The moment Zelensky told his people he refused to flee, Ukraine refused to fall. Leaders don't become legends often, but over these nearly 7 weeks, this 44-year-old former comedian inspired his country to stand up to the overwhelming force of Russia.
Few people would have expected this kind of raw courage from the 44-year-old former actor and comedian.
I think the whole world has recognized that the power of one person, President Zelensky, to motivate a nation has been demonstrated in a way we will not forget.
Zelensky, for his part, is courageous and a bit fatalistic. He has thus far rebuffed U.S. offers to evacuate Kyiv to avoid being captured or killed. On Friday, he said, according to the information we have, the enemy has marked me as target number 1, my family as target number 2.
His speech to the European Parliament, it was really striking as it was translated for the members of the European Parliament. You hear the translator fighting back tears as he's translating Zelensky's words. I've never heard that happen.
We are fighting just for our land and for our freedom, despite the fact that all large cities of our country are now blocked.
This spirit of regular Ukrainians is what's inspiring Zelensky too. He's proving worthy of the nation that he's leading.
It was the decision that saved Ukraine from immediate collapse. Good evening, everyone, he said. We are all here. Our soldiers are here. The citizens of the country are here. We are all here protecting our independence, our country, and we're going to continue.
Zelensky's raw courage is winning admiration around the globe.
And here's Zelensky going, let's be clear, like, this is dangerous where he's going. Basically, the civilian population has been evacuated from these places. He's where the fighting is most intense. What Zelensky's doing, he's showing what actual courage is.
What this dude is doing, it is incredibly moving. The courage and the humanity, they're not responding in hatred and in anger, they're responding in care.
I don't want to make myself out to be a hero, he said. I love my family. I want to live many more years. But choosing between running or being with my people, Of course I'm ready to give my life for my country.
President Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine is doing the impossible every day. His courageous defense of democracy is reminding us all of what is most precious and most fundamental to our way of life. His bravery is exceeded only by that of the people of Ukraine, and they are unifying the world, including Americans, to fight for freedom and the rule of law.
The Ukrainian people are holding up the torch of freedom for all of us. They are showing immense courage. They are defending their lives, but they are also fighting for universal values, and they are willing to die for them. President Zelensky and the Ukrainian people are a true inspiration.
Stop fearing the Russian Federation. We've shown we are not afraid. We united as a nation, even though our people understood that they would be outnumbered tenfold and there would be no way out, just no way out. We fought for our existence and for survival.
Facing death and destruction in his country, yet refusing to give up, Zelensky's decision to stay during the war has made all the difference for his military and his people.
Не ховаючись і нікого не боюсь, стільки, скільки потрібно, щоб перемогти у цій нашій вітчизняній війні. Шановні громадяни України, захищаємось, не зупиняємось. Слава вам, слава нашій армії, слава Україні.
Please welcome the recipient of the 2022 OHI Courage Award, President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, greetings from Ukraine, from the country that is already called the Global Center of Courage. This year we reminded to the world that courage can do things that no one expects. There is no Goliath that David cannot beat when he is not afraid and takes the fight. And I encourage all defenders of freedom to never give up, always act decisively and believe that victory is possible. Ukraine survived under the attacks of Russia. We reject Russian blackmail and are not afraid of Russian terror. Ukraine will not give up its freedom. And the day will come soon when all the murderers and torturers who came to our land under the Russian flag will be brought to justice. We'll see how those who are responsible for starting this criminal war will be punished by the court and history. And I thank all our friends and thank the leaders and people of the United States of America who are helping to bring closer the victory for Ukraine and punishment for Russia, for aggression, as well as for those who became Russian accomplices in terror. It is important that the Ukrainian people were honored with this prestigious award, the OHI Courage Award, at the same time as Masih Alinejad, a woman who fights for human rights and truth for all Iranians. Now our country is suffering from terrorist attacks by Russia, which are also carried out with Iranian weapons. The Iranian regime has transferred drones to Russia to destroy our civilian infrastructure, everything that gives the vital basis for a normal life. Our power plants, transport, even residential buildings have become targets for murderous Iranian drones. Hundreds of them have already been used against us. And this clearly shows that when there is a threat to freedom, it is a threat to people everywhere, not only in the places where the human rights are destroyed and people are humiliated. When there is a lack of freedom somewhere, it undermines freedom for all humanity. So it is a danger for everyone, and that's why everyone's courage is needed. Courage, which is enough to stand up to terror and punish those who spread death and hatred, who threaten freedom and destroy peace. Please don't hesitate to say no when you see the cruelty of evil like Goliath. Don't give up. Always fight. Do not give up your rights and never betray the desire to live freely. And please help others who fight for freedom. Let victory be the reward for courage. Thank you for your support and for the award to Ukrainians. Slava Ukraini!
To receive the 2022 Olgy Courage Award for President Zelensky, please welcome the Ambassador of Ukraine to the United States, Oksana Markarova.